ユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host for tonight, Jeffrey Vegas. Our co-host will not be joining us here, at least at the moment. He is busy watching the World Series of the Philadelphia Phillies versus the Houston Astros. Philadelphia is a little behind here. It is 5-0 Astros. So, you know, a little stress going on right now. What's going on, Miaja? Miaja comes in right away, shooting from the hip. I do not know if I like the idea of Jeff Jarrett on AEW. So all I can say is Jeff Jarrett has been a part of just about every wrestling organization on the planet, to be honest with you. As I was growing up, WCW, he was there. And then all of a sudden he was on WWE, he was there. He's been over in New Japan. His family's been involved in wrestling for 80 years or some shit like that, like since the 40s. So it can be good. It's just, I get it if you don't like Jeff Jarrett himself, but he could definitely add something. You know what I mean? We'll have to see. We'll have to give it a chance, but I'd see where you're coming from. All right, so let's go ahead and start off here tonight. Our AEW Dynamite review show. We started off with Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal in a freaking awesome opening match to Dynamite here. Coach Nick says he loved Jeff Jarrett in TNA. yeah, he was all right over in TNA. You know, I'm glad they brought the guitar gimmick, where he smashes someone in the face with the guitar. You know, that's probably my favorite gimmick that he had. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I'm good with that. Darby versus Jay Lethal, man. Excellent match. I mean, what else would you have expected here? This match was freaking fantastic. What up, Darth Giles? Darby is just incredible, man. Darby does stuff that just normal people can't do. Something about that kid's body is like made of steel. And he's small, and he's light, and he's agile, and man, this kid. So he goes to do one of his tope suicida dives, right? And by this time, you know, Jay Lethal's big buddy, Satnam Singh is ringside. So he goes to do the tope suicida to Satnam Singh. And Satnam Singh just stands there. And Darby just pinballs off of him like a statue. That was so fucking cool to me. I don't know if that came across as cool to anyone else. But the way that Darby just like hit him and bounced off, and Satnam Singh did not move. It was hilarious. I loved it. Absolutely love that. The referee, of course, ejects Satnam Singh and what's his name there? Oh man, I don't have my co-host tonight. I'm in shambles. Sanjay Dutt. So Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh both get ejected from ringside there. Sting, what it appears to be Sting, shows up with a bat, hits Darby in the back, and rolls him in the ring. And of course, Jay Lethal hits the lethal injection for the 1-2-3 and picks up the win. Now, we thought that this was Sting, and I thought this was going to be our big time reveal of the night here because he obviously was wearing a mask. He takes the mask off and it's Cole Carter. It's whatever. Like, I kind of have a rule with these like people in masks unmasking type things. You know what I mean? If nobody knows who the fuck you are, pulling your mask off does dick. So I'm not sure. Like, listen, I like the guy. Don't worry. I mean, he's fine. He's got purpose here. But if nobody knows who you are when you're behind the mask and you pull it off and everyone's like, it seems to miss a little bit. You know what I mean? Like with MJF revealing himself to be, the guy behind the mask, it's incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew who that was. We kind of knew already, you know what I'm saying? But needs to be somebody that's recognizable, somebody that we know, But yeah, my wife said, "Who the fuck is this?" Yeah, man. I mean, if I didn't, to be honest, I know who Cole Carter is, right? If Excalibur didn't shout it right away, I still would have been like, "Who the fuck is this?" So Sting's music hits and everybody clears the ring. Darby's in the ring, kind of standing there looking, where's Sting at? And I recognize this dude's cowboy hat and his hair immediately. Jeff Jarrett, of all people, man. Jeff motherfucking Jarrett. JEFF JARRET. Jeff Jarrett shows up, guitar in hand, and just like our childhood back in WCW, he smashes Darby right in the head with this guitar. What's up, Duzan? Duzan Dragovic. I do think Cole has great potential. He's got a great look. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. He's definitely green. He needs to probably start off in Ring of Honor, which looks like what they're going to do with him. They're pairing him up with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. I have a feeling they'll be part of the Ring of Honor crew. Yeah, so Jeff Jarrett cuts a pretty decent promo, to be honest with you. That might have been one of the better promos that I have seen from Jeff Jarrett in a couple of years. He even says, yeah, look at him there in a pool of blood. And when you look down, Darby does have like a small pool of blood puddling up around his head. You didn't know who he was, Myoja? Yeah, unless you watch NXT back and you're kind of aware of the whole, he's the guy that was kind of murdered and sleeping with the fishes with Tony D'Angelo. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so great opening segment to this. We'll see where this goes with Jeff Jarrett. I think it's got some potential, but there's also the potential of it to flop like, a lot of stuff that, he's done in the past, but we'll see. Yeah, and Jeff's promo was definitely solid, man. I was shocked. I was kind of like, damn, this dude's making a lot of sense. He sounds good. He looks good. I'm okay with it for now, so we'll see where it goes. Next up, we got a Jon Moxley promo backstage, cutting a promo on Lee Moriarty about the match that they were about to have. And, he acknowledged that, we were looking at you for the Blackpool Combat Club, but you just weren't violent enough, so we kind of had to let you go and do your own thing. And, I really enjoyed the fact that they did this because they were acknowledging the fact that a lot of the fans were talking and thinking that Lee Moriarty was going to be joining. So it's actually really cool that they did this, and it was definitely, in my opinion, this was definitely acknowledging the fans of like, hey, we heard you guys talking about Lee Moriarty, but we had a plan here, you know. So Moxley says, you know, we over here at the Blackpool Combat Club, we are teachers, and you know, I'm gonna teach you something, son. He's like, I'm gonna teach you what it means to, you know, he's gonna teach him a lesson tonight. Essentially, is what he said. That's gonna be freaking awesome. Yeah, what up, Jordan? Unreal Dynamite. Absolutely, man. Really, really good. All right, next up, we had a recap of the Trios tournament finish with the Elite winning the championship, but then being kind of Thanos out of existence again. But they did it really cool where it was kind of like an edit delete button. I really, really enjoyed how they did that. And then they had the Death Triangle replace them, and the AEW entire logo kind of burned away and disappeared. I'm very, very intrigued with where they're going with all of this. Can't wait to see what happens when the Elite come back. And I'm telling you guys, I really think we're going to get a different gimmick other than the Elite. They're burning the E away. They're deleting the Elite themselves. I really, really think that they're going to utilize this for some sort of comeback, revitalization, or I don't know what word to use, but I really do think, yeah, I do. I really do. Okay, next up, we had Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty. We had Ethan Page on commentary. That was freaking fantastic. I love me some Ethan Page on the commentary team. Had some really good chain wrestling in this match. Heel or face? Heel. I want them to come back as like, you know, without us, this place is nothing. We're the foundation of this company. All you young guys want to talk about being the pillars. We're the foundation. And don't get me wrong, like the name foundation sounds lame, but in that story aspect of saying like the four pillars and the foundation, it makes sense. But the name still kind of sucks. Like if they use something like the foundation, like where I'm kind of torn on my idea here. You said that, Jordan, in diapers? Did autocorrect really correct Discord into diapers? That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a good point, Jordan. Jeff Jarrett could name his stable Impact. Oh, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. And don't forget to type exclamation point battle royale in chat to trigger a over the top rope battle royale with everybody. But this match between Mox and Moriarty was fantastic, man. Moriarty actually got himself some decent offense in during the entire commercial break. He pretty much took over the match. It was really nice seeing him kind of get cocky and kind of start dancing a little bit while he was in control of the match. But we come back from commercial, and you know, Moxley basically annihilates this kid. Gets him with the stomps, the Danielson stomps to the face. Gets him with an RKO out of nowhere. Hits him with the downward elbows. Just, that's a nasty move. If you could ever do that to someone in real life, they would not be having a good time. Not gonna have a good time. And of course, Mox puts him in the Fujiwara, I believe it's called, armbar. And we get the tap out. And no sooner than Lee Moriarty taps out do we get Ethan Page in the ring, kicking the shit out of Jon Moxley. That's actually really funny. Mia just says Max and Jeremy Buck. Oh, that'd be funny. Generation Me version of Jeff Jarrett in his stable. Yep. Instead of get the E out, get the F out. You guys got it. That's nice. That's nice. Great minds think alike. So yeah, Ethan Page attacks Mox, and that was that. Next up, we got what we thought was going to be an interview with Saraya, Renee Paquette, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. But Britt Baker did not show up. She does things on her own time. And what we wound up getting was a quick interview with Renee Paquette and Saraya. Or Saraya. Man. Isn't it Saraya? I keep forgetting. Like, I tell myself it's one way and then I'll say it the other way. It drives me insane. But Britt no shows. They have themselves their own little interview here. And I gotta say, not Britt. Saraya looks incredible. Her new jacket, I wonder if the girl that makes Britt's jackets made that jacket. I'm not quite sure. But Saraya looked absolutely incredible. Her jacket looked freaking awesome. Her promo she cut here was really, really good. Renee Paquette asks her about her medical situation. Now, we had already been told Doc Samson had cleared her for the ring, right? So I was kind of like, wait a minute, why is she asking her about her medical? Didn't we get her cleared? And Saraya says, there's only one more doctor that I need to see about first. And I think obviously she's talking about the doctor, Britt Baker, DMD, right? Is that that's what we're doing? I believe so. I could be wrong, but I think that's what she's hinting at. All right, next up, they showed Lamar Jackson in the crowd. Coach Nick with that Ravens Army. What are you guys called? I forget what you guys are called. A bird's nest or something? And then we go to a promo backstage with Tony Schiavone and Lord William Regal. This is more and more thinking that we are going to be getting William Regal joining forces with MJF. I would be really surprised if that's not where this leads to. It just didn't make sense to have William Regal doing a promo by himself without Mox or somebody else there. The Ravens flock, says Coach. Yeah. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. So, he says Max still has a long way to go before he's a true villain. I really think we're going to get Tony Schiavone. What is going on tonight? I need my co-host, man. I'm in shambles. Rome, I need you, sir. I'm just kidding. Enjoy the rest of the game here. Hopefully we make a comeback there. But I am really seeing Lord William Regal turn on Jon Moxley and join MJF. It's going to be freaking awesome. All right. Next up, we had the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass with the Daddy Ass birthday bash. My God, this was amazing. This was so well done. These dudes are absolutely on fire. The Acclaimed, we got the guys in the World Series doing the scissor thing. I believe it was Brandon Marsh and Reese Hoskins doing the scissor. These dudes are a phenomenon. It hasn't been anything like this in wrestling in a long time where people are doing, last thing I can think of is the yes chants. It's probably the biggest thing to ever come out of wrestling, to be honest, is the yes chants and maybe the DX, suck it. But we're right there with the scissor me thing, man. It's definitely a big deal. Billy Gunn comes out with both of his hands bandaged up. So I guess what we were to assume is that, Sneaky Swerve used those pliers to break a couple fingers is what it seems like. Bryson Stott as well. Yes, sir. So we get a really good rap. It wasn't as good as it normally is because they kind of wanted to just kind of wish Billy Gunn a birthday into the rap, but it was a decent rap. They didn't go overboard with anything. Nothing offensive or anything like that. Just a quick little shot at Elon Musk for charging money for get your blue check mark on Twitter. This was amazing. They gave Billy some birthday gifts. The first gift was, so when we were in Philly, we were actually, while we were getting their autograph done, the woman who is in charge of AEW's merchandise was in the room with us while we were getting the autographs from the Acclaimed. And we asked her, like, where are the foam fingers, lady? Like, where are the foam scissor fingers? We really, really need these. And she kind of rolled her eyes at us and was like, they're coming, they're coming. And I was like, are they really coming, or are you just saying that? She's like, no. She's like, we've actually ordered them. They are coming. So finally, here they are tonight. They finally gift Billy Gunn with the new foam scissors. So he was actually able to celebrate and do the scissor thing by putting on the foam finger. Excellent 10 out of 10 right there on gift number 1. Gift number 2 was really cool. They went out into the audience looking for a gift, and they found a young kid with a really, really nice pair of cardboard scissors that were cut out and painted very well, obviously by his parents. And they brought those into the ring and handed them to Billy Gunn. And Billy Gunn basically hugged the giant pair of scissors. So if by any miracle you guys are watching this who made those scissors, kudos to you guys. That was incredible. I bet you guys have a moment for life right there. Max Caster scissored the young child. Words I never thought I would speak on a YouTube podcast. Context matters for sure on that one. And for the third present, we have the Acclaimed have filed to adopt daddy ass Billy Gunn. And all they needed was his signature. But unfortunately, before he is able to, if he was even going to be able to with his hands being foam scissors now, he was unable to sign before the Gun Club, the Ass Boys, showed up and caused a distraction. And during their distraction, and while they were casting distraction on the ring, we had Morrissey attack from behind, giving Billy Gunn a huge boot to the face, totally ruining the celebration. And you know, every time I see a table in the ring, being the Broken Tables podcast that we are, I always have a suspicion that someone's going through the table, you know? And luckily, we got FTR coming out to save the day. I was very nervous here. I was very nervous here that Billy Gunn was about to go through this table on his birthday. Is it today that his actual birthday? I don't know if we're just celebrating it today or if it is his birthday. But I was very sad for a moment. I was like, oh no, Billy's going through the table on his birthday bash. No. Thank God for FTR. The living legends themselves. Thank you very much, boys, for saving daddy ass from the table. And then FTR pick up the AEW Tag Team Championship belts. Look at them for just a moment. Just a brief moment do they look at them in their hands. And they hand them over to the Acclaimed. This was so good. Beginning to end. I mean, this entire segment, I believe, was perfection. And I feel like I've been saying that about every single segment that has to do with the Acclaimed. His birthday was yesterday. Thank you, Juan. Jordan says green test. Are you saying that about Morrissey? Like he's a green test? Like test from the 90s? I can see that, but I don't think he's green anymore. I think Morrissey has definitely paid his dues enough to become, to not be called green. His tag team run alone in the East should be enough but I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. All right, after this, we got a segment with Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone with Jamie Hayter. Basically, Britt saying, no, we're not doing things on your terms. We're doing things on my terms with my people, Tony Schiavone and Jamie Hayter. So I guess they are kind of doing this like AEW versus E thing with these two. It does feel like that a little bit. And one thing that caught my eardrums here is that Britt and Jamie Hayter called themselves the best female tag team on the planet. Sorry, let me restart. Those are words that you would normally hear from somebody going after a tag team championship. So it really seems to me like we might be getting some AEW women's tag team championships soon. And man, I can't tell you enough how huge it would be to, in the same couple of months, have Saraya, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Vernado, I'm sorry. If she's here, she will be Mercedes Vernado, and Naomi. If that could happen, this AEW women's division will be on a whole nother fucking level. It already has taken itself to the next level. We've got Jamie Hayter, we got Saraya, we got Toni Storm, we got Britt Baker, we got Jamie Hayter, we got Jamie Hayter, we got Jamie Hayter, we got freaking Hikaru Shida. I mean, we got Riho back. I mean, the cream of the crop. We now have enough women in this division. Jade Cargill, how can I even forget about her right now? She's kind of in the TBS title picture. I don't want to say I picture her as her own separate division, but it does feel like that's a separate division at the moment. This is a whole nother level that this women's division has stepped up to. And getting Naomi and Sasha Banks would just be absolutely monstrous. And don't get me wrong, I think the chances are very low. I don't think that it's a for sure thing going to happen by any means. Chances are very low. They're more than likely going back to the E now that Papa H is over there. Triple Paul is probably going to throw as much money as needed at them. He's going to apologize as much as needed to be, and we'll see where that goes. But if only if, it would be incredible. It really would. And, competition breeds excellence. It really does. So remember all the years when the E had no competition? Serena Deeb. Thank you, Jordan. There's a lot of girls that I probably didn't name. And feel bad for any of them I didn't name. There's too many. I could just keep going on. You know what I mean? The E, when they had no competition, it was trash, man. Like, you got to admit, there was a bunch of years of just absolute garbage. And now that they have an actual competitor, they've had to step their game up. They really have. And, give credit where it's due. They've stepped it up a little bit. They've brought some people back. They've changed up a few things here and there. But, I think that it may be in their best interest to allow AEW to flourish a little bit. That's a testament right there. Coach is very, very, I don't want to use the word judgmental, but Coach is very tough. Yeah, because he's a coach. You know what I'm saying? He's very tough when it comes to, being honest about his opinions on some wrestlers. And for Coach to be cool with Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir at the moment, that's a testament to what those two ladies are doing at the moment anyway. So kudos to them. So people said word was Sasha was backstage at a live event in Mexico this week, but no confirmation. What we heard was that Sasha was visiting Bayley because Bayley was in town. Yeah, I'm not too sure, Juan. Absolutely not sure. There's no confirmation there. I'm just kind of fantasy booking here for the future. Like I said, the E can only benefit with a strong AEW. You know what I mean? Um, People love wrestling. People who love wrestling really love wrestling. You know what I mean? So if there's a decent product on both sides, it's just gonna help both of them. All right. So like I said, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter called themselves the best female tag team on the planet. So those are words spoken by someone going after some belts to me. So I have my suspicions that we may be getting some AEW women's tag belts. I'm thinking once Ring of Honor separates, we got to have a separation of Ring of Honor before we introduce any more belts, I believe. But we'll see. Next up, we had the Ocho Chris Jericho's open challenge for any Ring of Honor champ throughout history. Could have been a tag champ, could have been TV champ, women's champ, anything. He says he would even beat Lamar's ass, and he looks out and sees Lamar Jackson in the crowd, who looked blazed out of his mind, by the way. He had to look down at the floor and laughed his ass off. That was a pretty funny segment right there. But who do we get? None other than Boom Boom Colt Cabana. Boom Boom Colt Cabana. I popped for this. I have to be honest. The crowd massively popped for this. I popped because I realized immediately kind of what this meant. This was Chris Jericho 100% sending a shot at CM Punk, being like, listen, dick, guess who's my opponent? Look, take a look. And I saw some tweets that were like, oh, somebody, an injured man in Chicago is fumbling for his remote control, trying to change the channel right now. Yeah, I just about spit my water out when I heard Boom Boom. Me, big Dark Order fan. I thought this was an excellent choice, and I got to admit, Coach Nick predicted this in the Discord before we went live. So, kudos to you there, Coach Nick. That was a great prediction, man. So this match was incredible too. I don't ever remember a Colt Cabana match being this good. I have to admit, him and Jericho started off 100 miles an hour, just beating the tar out of each other. And they were flying around like a couple of cruiserweights back in the WCW Cruiserweight Championship era. This was wild to start off. I thought for sure this was going to be a super short, quick match. No, these guys gutted it out. We had Hager with an interrupt. He interrupted the match and stopped the Superman pin, where it actually really looked like Colt Cabana had a pin going there with his Superman pin. But eventually Jericho hits the code breaker, gets the 1, 2, 3. Out of nowhere, like, I feel like I just blinked, and all of a sudden up on the ramp we had the Jericho Appreciation Society with Ian Riccaboni being held hostage again. Jericho grabs his glasses and puts them on for a second. He's like, oh, then snaps his glasses in half. Luckily, before they can Judas effect Ian Riccaboni, we get Claudio Castagnoli and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club, minus John Moxley, of course, come out for the save. Security comes out, separates everybody from a big old brawl going on. I thought this was a decent little brawl. But I really want to start seeing Mox join into these, you know what I mean? It kind of doesn't make sense to see everybody except Mox to keep coming out for these. I get it because he's the champ and he's got other stuff going on. But I feel like if it's Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society, we should get the full thing, you know what I mean? But I'm okay with it. It is what it is, Next up, we got a video package, or I'm sorry, an interview with Death Triangle. Phoenix is talking about how he wants to be the double champ. And Pac says, listen, man, I was double champ. I know a thing or two about being the double champ. The hammer. This is all you need. The hammer will help you become the double champ. And Ray Fenix kind of contemplates it for a second, gives a little bit of a head nod, but we'll get to that one later on. Next up, we had the All-Atlantic Championship three-way dance between Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and Ray Fenix. This was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. Ray Fenix and Orange Cassidy. Oh my God. We got Will Rally Sports says, hi from the UK. I felt so sorry for Marina and Jade with Vicky and Nyla commentating on the mic. Oh my God, worst segment in AEW. Okay, so I don't agree worst segment in AEW of 22, but I do agree that really, really hurt the segment. Yeah, definitely welcome from the UK. Definitely appreciate that. Man, that's a tough one to come back to. I really do. I do feel like that hurt the segment a lot because of how bad that Vicky's voice is. But it went on too long. Nyla should have only done it for a second. You know what I mean? It should have only been for a moment. It went just a little too long. I don't think it completely ruined it like that. You know what I mean? But I do think it was just like, oh God. So, but we'll get to that. We'll get to it when we get there. This Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and Fenix match, man, absolutely incredible. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Orange Cassidy and Fenix would team up as much as they could on Luchasaurus. They would get his big ass out of the ring and then just go to town on each other, man. It was so good. Yeah, Juan, got to definitely mention that. Wrestling Shorts on YouTube gave us a shout out today. Thank you very much to Wrestling Shorts. If you by just so happen to see this, man, thank you very much for that shout out. We did get quite a couple. We got quite a few subscribers from that, so definitely thank you very much. One of those subscribers we got was the Scuffed Fight Federation. Thank you very much for that subscribe there, sir. Another one was John Sherrod. Thank you very much, John, for your subscribe as well. So thank you very much. The other subscribers we got, unfortunately, had their subscriptions hidden. So if you hide your subscriptions on YouTube, it blocks the notifications from showing up. So before you hit that subscribe button, if you want to have your Orange Cassidy, thank you. Make sure you have those unblocked. But thank you very much, everybody who did that from Wrestling Shorts. We definitely appreciate that. And if you can, go follow him, Wrestling Shorts. He does pretty much he does a lot of YouTube shorts of actual wrestling clips from the inside of arenas and stuff. It's pretty good. So back to the match here. Luchasaurus kept getting his ass kicked by both the other guys, getting thrown out of the ring. Damn right Rome would be proud of Orange Cassidy tonight. I'm not sure how much of the match Rome got to see. It was so good, man. It was just the way that they kept telling that story of, we're going to team up, we're going to kick his ass out of the ring, then we're going to kick each other's ass. Luchasaurus comes back in the ring, kicks both of their asses. They team up again, kick his ass out of the ring, kick each other's ass. Like, it was just amazing. Just, I was kind of speechless for a little while. I was trying to figure out, the words to describe this match, but incredible is pretty much all that I can think of. You know what I mean? At one point, Luchasaurus choke slams Orange Cassidy into the stairs. I wouldn't say choke slams, more like choke thrusts Orange Cassidy into the stairs. And then he choke slams Ray Fenix through the Timekeeper's table. So Luchasaurus, thank you very much for all the shout outs that you have been giving to the podcast over these past couple of weeks/months. This has to be like the 4th or 5th time he's put somebody through a table, man. Kudos to you, Luchasaurus. Thank you very much. After this, we get a fight up on the ramp, and it looks like he's going to choke slam Orange Cassidy. Oh, excuse me. Orange Cassidy onto the steel rails, just like he did to Jungle Boy. But out of nowhere, Jungle Boy comes with a steel chair, smashes Luchasaurus a couple times with that steel chair, and then he hits Luchasaurus with a crossbody, taking him off of the entire rampway and through the tables set up down below. Absolutely incredible spot to take Luchasaurus out of the match. So Luchasaurus is gone from the match. Pac comes running down. He throws Orange Cassidy into the ring. He hands Rey Fenix the hammer. Rey Fenix says no, and he throws the hammer down like an idiot. Gets in the ring, takes a fat orange punch to the face. 1, 2, 3. Orange Cassidy wins. So, absolutely unreal match from these three guys. If you're one of those that tends to look away during the picture-in-picture, I hope you didn't. Even during picture-in-picture, this match was fantastic. After the match, Pac is immediately attacking Orange Cassidy. And whose music do we hear other than Katsuyori Shibata? Shibata comes out with the best friends, including Rocky Romero. Comes out for the save, clears the ring. Orange Cassidy stands up, a little bit dazed from the beatdown, and Shibata points at the belt. Cassidy just happens to all of a sudden have the contract in his hand. I don't know if he was like David Copperfield right there or what, but that was a magic trick how Cassidy all of a sudden had the contract in his hand. If anybody caught how that happened, let me know. Did somebody hand it to him maybe, like Trent? It was crazy. Orange Cassidy shows absolutely no fear to Shibata. For those of you who don't know, Shibata is from New Japan. This dude's a monster in New Japan. He's considered like a legend. Shows no fear, hands him the contract and says, sign it. Here's your dream match. I knew Jordan was going to know Shibata. So, did they say that was going to happen on Rampage? Is Rampage going to be live again this week? Or is Cassidy going to pull double duty and wrestle another match? Yeah, Coach, we're getting international, man. We got Brazil with Miaja. We got the UK with Will Rally Sport. I think we're going to call him Rally or Will. We'll go with Will. We got Will in the UK. We got Miaja in the Brazil. Hell yeah. So yeah, Shibata signs the dream match contract. Rampage going to be Orange Cassidy versus Shibata. That's going to be insane. Did anybody answer me there? Is Rampage live or is he pulling double duty? Is he wrestling 2 matches? Shibata looks like he's from a Korean gang. He looks like he's part of the Yakuza, like straight up. Like if he were to take all his clothes off, I would not be surprised if he had like a full body tattoo. And if he was wearing the, damn, what's that sumo thing called? Shit, I watch sumo and I can't think of it right now. Damn. His belt. I'm disappointed in myself right now. Next up, we had a mind-blowing segment for myself. I am not sure if any of you were as mind-blown by this as I was, but we had Swerve Strickland backstage with Tony Schiavone and the biggest boss Rick motherfucking Ross. Holy shit. Did anybody else ever think that they would be seeing Rick fucking Ross on AEW? And it doesn't seem like this is a one-off. This really feels like Rick Ross is now kind of sort of joining Swerve in Our Glory. I would not be surprised if he becomes their manager type in the middle of this breakup. This is definitely a breakup. 100%. Keith Lee accuses Swerve of cheating in both of their matches. And Rick Ross is like, accusations, false accusations. Dude, hire that man right now, like Jordan says. That segment was fucking fire. That I laughed so hard when he screamed accusations and pointed at Keith Lee. I don't know how Keith Lee kept a straight face right there. I would have died. Dude, Rick Ross was fucking great. Yeah, cracked up the whole segment. It was hilarious. It was absolutely awesome. Keith Lee asked Swerve who was behind the camera while you were filming Billy in the chair. And who the hell was behind that camera? That was an excellent question. Do we have any guesses on who was behind that camera? I don't want to say Rick Ross, because if they go that route, I'll be like, damn it. But who do we think could have been behind that camera? The false accusations thing, man. I died. Absolutely just loved it. But while I wait for some responses in chat to who we think could be behind the camera, next up was this was my most anticipated segment of the night because a lot of shit went down throughout the week with a certain other podcaster over on Twitter who, let's face it, over the years really, really enjoys shitting on the women's division. He can claim all he wants that he said good things here and good things there. Yeah, he did. But if you go back months before that, he just absolutely shit on them relentlessly, uncalled for. So I was expecting this match really to try to step it up and reach a certain level here tonight to kind of shut him up. Now, do I feel like Jade and Marina did their job trying to shut him up? Yes. But having Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero come out on the microphone completely ruined that for me. That may have been, now that I think about it, Will, that may have been one of the most annoying minute and a halves of AEW television for me. Because not only was it Vicky's annoying excuse me crap, then it was Nyla like commentating really, really poorly. If Nyla had executed that better, like let's say somebody actually wrote that segment for her, a seriously written segment, that could have been good. But God, it ruined it for me. It really did. Now, that's not to take anything away from the match that Jade and Marina had out there. I do believe that they had a good match if you could pay attention to it without just being like, shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mioja, I cringed hard too. I think I even wrote here, what did I wrote? I wrote stop this immediately as Nyla was getting towards the end of, messing with Jade. I literally wrote down stop this immediately. I would have just cut her mic right away. If I was Tony and watching this backstage, I'd have been like, dude, cut that mic. Cut it now. All right. So Jade absolutely smashes Marina here. During the pin, it looks like Kiera Hogan was trying to sneak up behind Nyla Rose. She did look like she grabbed a hold of the belt, but Nyla Rose turned around and just annihilated her. And she ran off with the belt. So Jade walks up to the top of the ramp where Kiera Hogan is. And Jade lets Kiera Hogan know she is disappointed and she failed to get the belt back. Hold on, we got a tweet coming in here from Tony Khan. Welcome to AEW Dynamite, to the new AEW Director of Business Development, Jeff Jarrett. I look forward to expanding the AEW live events calendar in 2023 and future years with JJ. Jeff Jarrett is all elite. Jeff Jarrett has been signed to AEW as the AEW Director of Business Development. Thank you, Rome, for sending that tweet over our way. Nice to see our wonderful co-host is, still with us in spirit. Thank you very much, Rome. So, the segment had a very good chance to be good. Marina and Jade absolutely did their job. What do you mean? Give me a second, man. My God. He's like, oh, never mind. Thanks. Yeah, when did they release him? I had no idea he was even gone. I thought he was still on the team, to be honest. I was definitely shocked. So next up, we got a video package of the Embassy attacking Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe making it very clear that he is very angry and that Wardlow is going to kill them. So, that was a little bit of preview for things to come later in the night. Next up was one of my favorite video packages I have seen in a long time. This House of Black video package was absolutely incredible. We basically had Julia Blackheart attending like a funeral. It was like a Viking or a pagan, I guess it was a pagan ritual funeral for Brody King. I'm guessing this is in reference to Darby and the coffin match, putting him in the coffin. So they kind of buried Brody out in the wilderness, and then like corn and crops grew. They had like people that were part of the House of Black, like I want to call them druids, but that's the Undertaker's thing, you know what I mean? But they were kind of like druids. Maybe they were just members of the house. And we got a quick glimpse of Malachi, and we got a hand reaching up out of the ground like a zombie. So I'm wondering, I would really, really enjoy seeing Brody King. I don't want to say like in a zombie character, but constantly with his war paint on, the black and white war paint he puts on, and being more of a like machine, just kind of, like Malachi Black's just machine. Did they exist before The Undertaker in wrestling? He knows how to, man, Rome knows how to annoy me. He definitely does. But this was excellent. I loved this package. This video package was freaking awesome. Julia Blackheart is absolutely incredible. She looks incredible. Awesome. Just absolutely awesome. Next up, we had a quick Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm video package. Match that is going to be taking place at Full Gear, which Rome and myself will be at, along with Purpleness. Not sure if she's in chat. She's probably passed out. What do we got going on in chat here before we get to our main event of the night? All right, so let's see here. Coach Nick says, I'll have to push the kind of faking mental health to get the E thing to the side, I guess, because I love everything about Malachi. I mean, we don't really know that he was faking it, man. Like, it could just be timing. You know, the whole contract tampering and the requesting could be timing. But listen. The man's wife still works there. I get it. He was told no, and now he's coming back. Right? If he had been like, fuck this, I'm not coming back, then fuck him. But he went ahead and while he was taking his mental health break, Malachi actually made a quick video for us, the fans, that he did not have to make. He had no obligation to make that video whatsoever. He made a video for us saying, listen, I'm taking some time. Calm down. I'll be back. And you know what? He's coming back. And I can respect that. You know what I mean? He or his people got a phone call and said, listen, man, we regret letting you go. It was a bad decision on our part. We'd like to bring you back and we'd like to pay you. See if you can get your release. He said, you know, my wife works there. I enjoyed working for you, Mr. Triple Paul. Let's see what I can do. If that's what happened, scummy, yes. On Malachi Black's part, not quite. Not quite. And as long as Tony said, no, you work for me. You signed a contract for me. And as long as he's going to honor that, like, yep, you're right, Mr. Khan, I'm cool with it. And Miyaj is making a great point. If he does the opposite of what Andrade did, Andrade went the other route. First of all, he is not good enough at all to think he can pull something like that. I really don't think he's going to add anything to the E if they ever even let him go over there, if they did. You know what I mean? What, were they just going to add him to Legado del Fantasma? That's about all they were going to do to him, probably. They're like, oh, we already penciled Zelina in here. We'll put you there too. You know, so. Yeah, exactly. As long as he's not doing what Andrade did, 100%. All right, so next up was the main event of the night. And now here's where I have one small nitpick. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with this main event here. But many people right now, their main complaint about AEW is too much Ring of Honor. Right? And listen, I'm the first one to defend it. Coach Nick, he was talking about it today in Discord. Show me a bad Ring of Honor match on AEW television. You're not going to find one. If you tried to find one, you'd probably be reaching pretty hard to actually find a bad match that was in the Ring of Honor division or, you know, under the guise of Ring of Honor. Moxley should have been the main event here. Jon Moxley versus Lee Moriarty should have been the main event. That is your AEW World Championship. It's not an interim belt anymore. That is your World Championship. Jon Moxley is your guy. Moriarty is a young up-and-comer. I really think those two should have been swapped. Now, I get it. They're going after ratings. I get it. But I don't think at this point we should be doing that. I think Discovery, Warner, I think they have enough of an idea about the ratings right now. I think they understand how the ratings with wrestling works. I think they know that if you start the show off with Moxley or Jericho, you get a high rating. You know, they know that the 925 slot is the dip, especially if you put the women there. They know all of this already. They've done enough research over the past year, 2, 3 years. They know They know enough. Yeah, I know, Rome. I know. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Man, you made me lose my train of thought there. Rome says the Phillies have no hits through 8 innings. Yeah, the pitching tonight for the Astros has been absolutely lights out. And, you know, it had to be. If these pitchers weren't lights out tonight, this was almost a death blow. And here's a quick stat that I noticed here today. Neither team has lost 2 games in a row. So, if the trend continues where neither of these teams loses 2 games in a row, the Phillies will win the World Series. Or if somebody breaks their spell and loses 2 in a row, we may see something crazy happen. So, all right, so now it was time for the main event. Brian Cage versus Samoa Joe, and that's what I was talking about. That this should have been earlier in the night, and John Moxley should have been this match here. So, this was an awesome match, don't get me wrong. Not complaining about the match in any way. Oh, I got the hiccups now from my water. Not complaining about the match in any way, shape, or form. This was just 2 big meaty men slapping meaty man meat, man. Brian Cage, for his size, the athleticism in that guy is insane. How that dude is not on some football team somewhere is bananas to me. More than likely wouldn't pass the wellness tests, if you get my drift. But I have no idea. That dude is an absolute monster. And him versus Samoa Joe was surprisingly really, really good. I enjoyed this match a lot. Brian Cage weighs 270 plus pounds. He did a front flip over the top rope to the outside, landed on Samoa Joe, and landed on his feet. He weighs 270 plus pounds. Could you imagine weighing, like I'm 175. That's more than 2 of me. I might be 180. I don't know. I haven't weighed myself in a while. It's still more than 2 of me. The dude is just made of pure muscle. It's crazy. No, coach, I completely, I'm fine with it being the last match as well. I'm just saying, like, if you look at it from the scope of what is the criticism of AEW right now, the only criticism that I see at the moment is too much Ring of Honor. So if that's the one thing that people are criticizing you on, and you make that the main event, I'm not sure if that was kind of to spite those people. Like, really? You think the Ring of Honor stuff is too much? Well, here, watch this banger. You know what I mean? It could definitely be that, you know? And maybe that is what he did. Maybe he's like, what? He's like, you think there's too much Ring of Honor? Let me show you how good this shit is. And it could easily be him doing that as well. It's just, yeah, they're trying to get the deal, but I feel like the deal's already in the works. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. That's why we need you here, Rome. But, you know, I feel like they already know the ratings. I feel like they already know all of that stuff. You know what I mean? The feeling out period for all of that should be over. We changed your opinion, coach? Then our job has been successful. I should make a sign that says this. Elevating titles. But what an awesome match. Samoa Joe, Brian Cage, absolutely incredible match. We had a really nasty looking pump handle slam from Brian Cage to Samoa Joe. Slammed Samoa Joe straight onto his face, man. It was disgusting. After that, goes to hit him with the flatliner. At least that's what I think he was going to call it, because he was like, doo-doo, doo-doo, doo. That's what he did with his hand. So I'm assuming it was called the flatline. Samoa Joe reverses the flatline into the rear naked choke. I'm not sure if he still calls that the Coquina Clutch or not. I think he passed that name off to, what's her name? Ronda Rousey's friend over there in the E. Can't think of it right now. The Queen of Spades. It won't come out. It's on my tongue. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Joe reverses into the rear naked choke and actually makes Brian Cage tap out. I really wish that they would have had Brian Cage just go unconscious here. Shayna Baszler, thank you, Juan. I really wish that Brian Cage would have just gone unconscious here rather than tapping out. Tapping out's a big deal to me. It is a big deal to me. But I think it was to make Samoa Joe look strong. But elevating the titles, right, Rome? Elevating the titles. So immediately after the tap out, we have Samoa Joe getting attacked by the Gates of Agony. Wardlow makes his way down to the ring, chases everybody off, and out of nowhere, Powerhouse Will Hobbs comes in. Man, what an absolute spine to the pine from Powerhouse Hobbs onto Wardlow. He hits Wardlow with a massive backbreaker. Not a backbreaker, but a spine buster. Whew. We end the night with Powerhouse Will Hobbs holding that TNT championship high above his head. So I think we got Wardlow's next challenger for the title lined up. That should be incredible. I hope we get a series of matches out of that. I want at least 2 or 3 matches out of that. And that was the end of an absolutely amazing AEW Dynamite. You know, they were talking beforehand about Twitter was definitely going to be talking about Dynamite tonight. And I'm assuming it was the Jeff Jarrett thing, you know, definitely has Twitter talking. I guess it may not have been as big as some people thought it was, but I definitely think it's bigger than the Elite returning. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Jeff Jarrett is bigger than the Elite, but Jeff Jarrett showing up in AEW was super unexpected. And the Elite returning was kind of expected. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm going with that. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow reminds you of Lashley versus Lesnar. I can see it, you know. The two big beefy guys versus, yeah, I mean that is basically what's happening. I'm really hoping, Juan, that Lashley and Lesnar somehow agree to an MMA fight. They're both MMA fighters, and they've actually both wanted to fight each other for real. Could you imagine if the UFC gets, like, the rights to have that MMA match in, like, their ring at a UFC event? That'd be fucking bananas. That would be bananas. Bananas. All right. Well, another absolutely fantastic episode of AEW Dynamite tonight. I can't wait for Rampage this Friday. Unfortunately, I did not have the co-host Rome with me tonight to give us all the Rampage matches that are coming. But you know, I'm sure later tonight or possibly tomorrow, he will post that stuff for us into the Discord. If you have not joined our Discord, give me one moment and I will give you the link to join our Discord. We are constantly talking about wrestling basically 24/7 in here. There's some people in there at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Woo! Miyaji coming in with that win. And please join that Discord if you have not already. What was everybody's favorite segment of the night tonight? I want to know what your guys' favorite segment was. It could be a match, could be a video package, anything. My favorite segment of the night, kind of a tie between a match and the House of Black video package. The All-Atlantic Championship match with Orange Cassidy and Rey Fenix was unfreaking real. That entire thing was amazing. But the House of Black video package hit me right in the feels. Rome coming through in chat. Shibata versus Orange Cassidy with Mike Tyson on commentary is all we need. Mia just says their favorite segment was the Elite video package. Another great one, absolutely. Coach Nick says, I loved Dynamite. Means he enjoyed the entire show. Juan, Colt versus Jericho. Missed on the Acclaimed FTR segment. Gonna have to check it out later. Yes. Colt versus Jericho was very good. Very, very good. And, you know, if you didn't catch that, this was definitely a shot, or at least an eyebrow raise to CM Punk, you know, definitely was. But if you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so now. We would greatly appreciate your subscribe. We hope we had earned that at some point here throughout the night tonight if you enjoyed the content here. The Acclaimed segment was gold. Yeah, absolutely, Rome. Absolutely. Jordan says the 3-way match, so good. So good. All right. Colt versus Jericho, the Acclaimed and JJ were the faves, all three. Yeah, man, everything was so good tonight. Excellent episode of Dynamite. Only thing that missed for me was Nyla Rose and Vicky. Freaking voice piercing my ears and my soul. But other than that, man, absolutely great episode. Miyaja, have a great night. You know, and I think we will call it a night here as well. I want to thank you guys all for joining us here tonight over on YouTube Live. Everybody that was join in and chat with the Battle Royales and the avatars down below. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for everybody listening to us later on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, all of those there. Thank you guys very much. The Rampage show is exclusive to YouTube, so if you are listening to us on one of those other podcast sources, be sure to come over here to YouTube at The Broken Tables Podcast and shoot us a subscribe. Hit that bell notifications because we are a YouTube exclusive for Rampage. And I do want to thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Rome says it's the bottom of the ninth, about to be up. Looking forward to this being over. Have a great night, everybody. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game being over as well. That's why I don't even want to cast it here. I just want to head upstairs and watch the last 3 outs of this in peace. Again, thank you guys very, very much for hanging out tonight. We are sorry King Rome was not here, but he'll be back with us on Rampage review, back better than ever, I'm sure. So you guys all have an absolutely wonderful night. And again, please hit that subscribe button. And until Friday, Top Guys out.